Everybody's got a price for the $1 Million Man.
Who's that kid? Nick. He looks like Beaker from Muppets.
The one on FS1, Nick Wright.
Yep. Yeah. I got something.
That's
for
amazing. I did not even. I love that.
If I get 5 women and they're all in the same room with me, we're going at it at 110%.
What's going on, everybody? We are live here on A2D Radio. I have this stinking poll question up already. Apologize for the slight delayed start. Had a little bit of a technical issue, but we're ready to rock and roll. This is the Lazy Booking Podcast on A2D Radio with myself, Chrome, joined as always by my buddy, my pal, my co-host, my good man over here, Mr. Eric Archer. What's up, my guy?
What's happening? We're live, pal. We're live.
We're live, pal. Yeah, man. Ready to rock and roll.
Did you catch the Grammys on Sunday?
Dude, I forgot they were on. I usually record them. The Grammys are like one of those that I usually record it and I watch like an hour each day. It's not when I like to sit and watch the whole thing. I totally forgot. The only thing I saw was Album of the Year at the end with Bad Bunny.
I was just going to say, no, I didn't watch them. I want to talk wrestling, but I didn't watch them.
Oh.
I was hoping you were going to go, no, me neither. Let's go.
Yeah.
No, all good. Lot to talk about. Let's get into it.
Yeah, man, we're talking Royal Rumble, fallout of Royal Rumble. Quite an eventful day, and we're excited to talk about that. First and foremost, let's show a little bit of love to our doctor, Dr. Paul Vidal at Specialized Physical Therapy. Physical locations in Burlington and Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can find them on the web at that site on your screen, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Any aches, pains, anything long-lasting, or anything recently coming up, contact him and his award-winning team. They'll get you set, they'll get you looked at, and they'll get you on the path back to feeling your physical peak. Eric, the Royal Rumble has come and gone. Very eventful.
I'd say.
I don't think shocking in the winners, but we're going to talk about everything today. We're going to talk about the Men's Rumble, the Women's Rumble. We're going to talk about Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre and Sami losing yet again. And we're going to talk about one Mr. AJ Styles in his career-ending match with Gunther and what this means going forward. Our opening topic of the evening, as always, brought to you by Specialized Physical Therapy. We're going to start with the men's match. Roman Reigns winning the 2026 WWE Royal Rumble was predictable and took away from the excitement of the match. Agree or disagree? Wherever you're at, Facebook, YouTube, X, please comment in, join our conversation. We want to hear all of your opinions, all of your follow-up for the Royal Rumble and Monday Night Raw last night live from Philly. Okay show. I don't think we're going to deep dive into that. Great ending to the show, I have to say, and that we will talk about in this opening topic. But please, most importantly, give it a like, give it a subscribe, give it a follow, share us out, but please join our conversation. It means a lot to us to hear what you guys have to say, hear what your fallout is of all of this. So, Eric, I'm going to let you kick us off. Regarding the poll question, I think last week myself and you both picked Roman as our is going to win selections. And, this is what we saw happen. So what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, so kind of not surprising at all. However, as I alluded to and have kind of beat a dead horse in the fact that you don't need to win the Royal Rumble to make an impact, right? So kind of expected Roman to win, but at the same time, looking at who they want to build up and who they want to showcase. And it was very clear at the very beginning with Ova, where he throws out the first 5 competitors and cleans house. And then we see some of the other younger talent, Trick Williams and Jacob Fatu and some of the others. I think people are hung up too much about Roman being predictable in that they want to see somebody else at the top. But my question to you is, for example, say Obafemi won this Royal Rumble. He's going to go to WrestleMania and face a champion, whichever one he decided to pick. And do you really think he was going to win any of those matches at WrestleMania? Probably not. So you don't want to give a loss to somebody that you're trying to build up. But also, you have a full year to build up these guys that you want to push up the card. You can still showcase them at WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and all the PLEs for the rest of the year. And then maybe next year, an Obafemi or a Braun Breaker or Jacob Fatu or whoever is ready to take on that and be ready to win the Royal Rumble. But I think with Roman, and Roman's getting a lot of flack online this weekend, I think it's the part-timer stuff. It's the Roman and Punk again. This is a fresh match. And it's a match that I can't wait to see, especially after last night. I think that promo just poured gasoline on that fire, and I'm all for it. It was great. And I think Roman is the right guy right now because we alluded to this last week too, where I don't think there's really anybody else that's ready to step up as much as Roman can provide. I think Roman doesn't need WWE. WWE needs Roman Reigns right now. And they need him to main event night 2, which is what this match should be. Should be night 2, main event. And whatever happens, it's going to be a great match. And it's telling a great story already. The story's there. It's impactful. It's meaningful. It makes sense. They're alluding to stuff from 10 years ago. They're alluding to stuff from a few months ago. This story has a lot of layers to it. So I think as much as it was predictable that Roman was going to win this thing to us, I think it's the right call.
Yeah, listen, sometimes the obvious choice is the right choice. Let's just simplify all that into something very, very easy. Right now, this company needs a boost. And Roman Reigns is a main event ticket. Even in a part-time schedule, there was nothing better that's going on in WWE. There's 2 things in WWE that really pushed this company over the last 2 years. Well, really 5 years. The bloodline and the story. All of which involve Roman Reigns. So at the end of the day, like you brought up Obafemi, I could believe that Obafemi would take out Drew McIntyre. They've already teased that. So yes, in that instance, I could see a path to absolutely strap the rocket ship and put him right up at the top. They did it with Yokozuna. They've done it before. It wouldn't be the first time. But that being said, right now, if you're not going to do that, I was shocked the way that Braun Breaker was eliminated. But I actually liked it. I think it's going to help his character in the long run. And we've talked for months about how, like a Braun Breaker, right? They've got him set to go into the main event picture. What do you do all these months till you get to WrestleMania? And I said, I don't even think he even needs to go to WrestleMania. You can hold him out to SummerSlam. You can hold him out till next year's WrestleMania. And they found a way now to transition him out of that whole Punk thing and to buy time for him and let him develop more character. And I think this kind of an adversity, even as a heel, is going to benefit that character in the long run. So, I mean, I didn't expect it, but it was one of those things I actually kind of loved the execution of it, right? And having Oba put him out right away, like, it just made sense to me. You know, I thought they did a really good job in this match, to your point, saying you don't need to win the match to be a star. I thought they did a great job at building an Obafemi and a Javon Evans. Javon Evans being the Iron Man, Obafemi tying Roman for the most eliminations at 5. And really, Oba was only like a minute and a half behind Javon in his length of time in the match. You know, I didn't like that they had him get rid of 5 people and then essentially do nothing the rest of the match. You know, they had moments. They had the face-to-face with Brock on a couple of occasions. But Like I think there needed to be another 1 or 2 eliminations along the way. Like he shouldn't be tying Roman. He should have passed Roman in that. If Roman's winning, he doesn't need to have the most eliminations. He's coming in later, so I think he was 22 if I remember correctly. I think that there should have been a distinction there to separate Oba, similar to how Javon got Iron Man. If you have Javon Evans coming out as your Iron Man and Oba Femi being your most dominant, it's on his own, not tied with Roman. I think it's a huge sell. But as far as Roman Reigns goes, he's a main event ticket. End of story. There's been years and years and years, and we've talked about this, where I know it's not the same, but the oversaturation in wrestling content now makes people think that like the title needs to be defended every week or every month. We came from an era where the title was defended 5 or 6 times on TV the entire time of the year. 4 major shows and maybe like 1 or 2 Saturday nights main events. So like it doesn't need to be. That's where the emphasis of a secondary title comes into play, where those titles can carry shows and be a prize to fight for. So again, with Roman, it's a familiar territory to go, but I think so much needed. And having Roman back in the main event, and for CM Punk and his character to go in truly as a champion and truly main event, what I think that might be a night 2 main event. It's last year was something special for him because he did get to close out a night 1. He had a triple threat, this and that. But this year he gets the title match. It's a way that he gets to check off those final boxes that were missed in his first run to kind of solidify, his character's run from bookend to bookend. So I had no issue with. I loved it. I thought it was great. Right, and having Gunther be number 2, the runner-up I thought was the right move, considering what he came off of earlier in the night and the run that he's had as well. And it's an opportunity to assure that Roman's going to get cheered because of who he's taking out. It's a smart move, booking move. So, yeah, I thought it was a really smart decision by them. No issue whatsoever with it. I think people complaining are complaining just to complain. That's it.
Yeah, and there are questionable things about the Royal Rumble that we're gonna get into, I'm sure. Some questionable decisions and missed opportunities, but I think the thing that they got right was Roman winning this thing, and it sets up, especially after last night. And Rue and I had a talk today. What's up, Rue? The plebeian young man. The thing that we were saying today was, I don't expect Roman to be on TV much until after Elimination Chamber. Really don't need it after what happened last night. Last night was, you poured, like I said, the gasoline on the fire, and you can have Punk come out a couple times, and he's on every week, but you don't need Roman every week. And I think that's going to really intensify things once Punk gets a mic by himself and starts talking more trash. And then when Roman comes to rebut, it's just going to set off even more fireworks. So I'm really excited. But going back to the Rumble, Roman was the right decision, and I think there are things that we'll talk about that could have been a little better, especially in the men's match. But all in all, it didn't take away from any excitement that I had. I thought he was winning, and I was hopeful that I said Jacob Fatu. He had a decent showing, and he comes out of it, and it looks like he could be a part of that other main event as well if things go the way I think they're going to. It furthered the story with him and Cody and Drew. So it did what it was supposed to do. You have a winner, but you also have supporting characters that continue to build stories and are continuing into WrestleMania. And that's the goal of the Royal Rumble. Not just the winner, it's everybody else involved as well.
Yeah, I mean, we could dive into it. I've already given a couple of my issues as far as the men's Rumble goes. But, what other issues did you have in terms of the men's presentation?
So I'll say this. If you are watching now, for me, and you and I have talked about this, about the surprises, right? And it's what surprise has really come out and really won the Royal Rumble, except for the obvious one, John Cena. That was a return from an injury, and he went and won, and he was, a reasonable person to win the Rumble. But like typically when you get your honky tonk man or those surprises, they're not winning. So it would have been nice to have one or two other surprises, but it doesn't bother me. What bothers me a little bit is having people in it and then writing stories about others not being in it. And then there's guys on the roster like, where was Carmelo Hayes?
That was a miss for me. You cannot have your United States champion not in there.
Yeah. So
honestly, particularly because that, like, I get it. Dom maybe still be injured, but as far as the U.S. title, I have personally found the U.S. title to be the most exciting secondary title because it's what we ask for. Like, the reality is, in real fights, nobody's winning every fight they have, right? And in reality, you watch it in UFC, right? Titles change hands all the time. So I've been begging for the U.S. title with the U.S. title challenge. I want that to continue and make that a hot potato championship. Nobody holds it for too long, but they can get some amazing matches in the short period of time they do. Give them competitors that are going to complement them, like we've seen with him and Ilya and some of the other contenders he stepped in with. That's where I think that title just continues to build a prestige of a different outline than we've seen in the past. It's more almost like a work shoot reality of how fighting really is. You're not going to win every fight. You're not going to be undefeated for 5 years like Roman Reigns was, right? In reality, we're really fighting all the time. And at least with that, and Carmelo's done such a good job, I feel like, with the United States title. And then you have The Miz in there, but you don't have Carmelo Hayes in there. You have people he's been beating every week. And I think Ilya should be in there, and Miz should be. But, like, listen, did we need Dragon Lee in there? What has he done? Why would Finn Balor not get that spot? Why would Carmelo Hayes not get that spot? It makes no sense.
I don't think we needed La Parka either, but I get it. I get you want to showcase AAA.
I have no problem with either of those two. To be honest with you, I think there's main roster talent that could have not been in that match. I think to show people that the relationship with AAA, the purchase of AAA, or the absorption of AAA is a legitimate thing, and that they're behind it. I think showcasing Mr. Iguana and La Parka was great. I actually thought La Parka looked pretty good in the little bit of time he had in there. It was cool. Yeah. So, but again, I'm going to go back to like a Dragon Lee, and like, no offense to like remind me, was the New Day in there?
No.
Thank God they weren't.
No, you know what? Now that I think about it, I don't think there was any tag team. Kit Wilson wasn't in the Royal Rumble. That's another guy I wouldn't have mind seeing, especially because he's starting to get a little bit of momentum as far as crowd reaction is concerned.
I'm just looking up who was in
it. Oh, that's fine. The other thing that kind of irked me was Brock Lesnar. Now, Brock Lesnar made a big deal on Pat McAfee. I'm going to be in the Rumble and I'm going to win it and make a huge splash. And I know that they had the face off with Oba. I thought that was really well done. But I think it should have been the other way around. I think Oba should have thrown out Brock.
Mm-hmm.
Because all you did was you had LA Knight and Cody Rhodes throw him out, which is going to probably lead to nothing.
Mm-hmm.
When you really wasted it. And you did, and probably a production snafu or whatever, but you almost missed it because Jay was out in the crowd with doing his yeet while that happened. So I think it was tough for Cole and Barrett to acknowledge it fully when you had Jey Uso in the crowd running down, coming in as the next entrant. So I think that was a missed opportunity. I think Oba's impact was good, but I think it could have been much bigger if you would have thrown out Brock.
Here's two spots right here that you could have waited until Monday Night Raw for. El Grande Americano and then El Grande Americano, who one was in for 2 minutes and 45 seconds, and then back to back, the other one was in for 1 minute and 21 seconds. Complete and utter wasted spots. Should have never been in there. And honestly, I guess I could see Dragon Lee over them. That's two spots right there. There's your Finn Balor and Carmelo Hayes spots. That could have waited till Monday Night Raw. Why did that have to happen in the Rumble? What were we doing? What pop were we getting? Because it went by like a stale fart. Nobody gave a damn.
I think you saw last night on. I know we're not going to dive too much into Raw, but I mean, El Grande Americano, the original, got a pretty decent pop last night when he appeared. So you're right.
Really?
They could have waited. You're right. Like I'm saying, like they could have waited and gotten a bigger pop than they got at the Royal Rumble.
Like they could make them the Raw after Rumble. I mean, nothing's ever going to be, I guess, associated as much as the Raw after WrestleMania to that level. But you really could make it like something more special. More special, where things like this can happen, right? To where it's like Rumble is your launching point, and like Raw after Mania or after Rumble is like your exclamation point that we are on the road, right? It's their booster to help shoot everything out of the gate. Similar to what we saw with Roman making his selection last night. I just, like, again, I look at those two names. That's why, like, when you say the Park, I get what you're saying, but like I actually loved the AAA inclusion. They didn't overdo it. Two guys, that's it. They were fun. I don't think they had any. Did they have anybody from NXT? They didn't even have any NXT talent.
No, the women's match did, but not
none for the men's.
And then we saw the debut of Royce Keys, which I thought he did good for what it was. Now people are like
a little under 10 minutes in the ring. I thought it was good.
Oh yeah, I think people are bashing it because you didn't get the crowd reaction. Like, let's face it, Saudi probably doesn't have AEW to watch. They don't know who this guy is. So in that defense, like, of course he's not going to get. I mean, he got a pop, but nowhere near where it would have been in the States. But let me just say this about him. They didn't have him signed till probably 10 days ago. So for him to even get 10 minutes in the Rumble, they probably already had things laid out. They probably had to remove somebody to put him in it. And maybe that's where Balor or Carmelo Hayes was taken out. But at the same time, to your point, they could have easily put them back in there. But I thought it was a good showing by Royce Keys. I don't know if you saw how he got that name. Royce is his son's name, and Keys is his mother's maiden name.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, really neat. So nice little backstory there. And they have a thing on WWE.com or on YouTube where they show him in the arena before, and it's like empty, and he's like reminiscing and like, wow, like I'm here, I made it. And Cody shows up and embraces him. So that was really cool. If you get a chance to look at that, that was pretty neat. I think it's like 10 minutes long. It's not. It's
I did see somebody talk on social media about like, man, I hope he keeps the name Powerhouse, because Powerhouse Keys sounds kind of cool too.
That does, but I mean, looking at where that comes from, I think that's really neat. Like, and you know, WWE is going to come in and say they want to own something. You know, they did the same thing with Blake Monroe. They do everybody. So
listen, they're you know, there's, and then this is again like we're complaining to complain.
Yeah,
a number of people complaining about, and I'm not saying I'm talking about the internet.
Oh yeah,
that they came up with the Powerhouse Hobbs name up on the display first. Well, they did that to let people know who it is. To get that opening pop.
Exactly.
Like, they're not acknowledging AEW. They may not use the name, but they even talked about the history that Hobbs had with Cody in AEW without utilizing the name AEW. They didn't ignore that these guys had a past and a notable company that people know what it is. So
as much as WWE gets flack for not understanding what the audience needs and what they want and saying they're tone deaf, I mean, that was far from it. You want to know who this guy is. They're not insulting intelligence. They know what's going on the other channel in one way, shape, or form. Like it's not rocket science. Why not embrace it and utilize it to build their new character?
Yeah. So obviously, like we said, so there's some things that could have been fixed.
Yeah.
But overall, I think you got two big stars coming out of it. Again, I'm looking at the Rock. Mr. Iguana got his spot. I thought he was a lot of fun. I'll tell you what. Case in point, Mr. Iguana. My sister's a casual viewer. She likes it, but she's a little more of a casual viewer. She's a little more than a casual viewer, but she's not a weekly viewer. She doesn't know the NXT talent very well. So, like, when Mr. Iguana came on the screen, like, instantly, she was entertained. Never saw him before. Didn't know what his shtick was. But she thought he was hilarious and entertaining. My buddy Rich was here. He don't really watch wrestling, but he'll come and watch the events sometimes with us. He don't know who Mr. Iguana is. He comes out and he's like, who the F is that? Completely entertained by him. So when people say, like, why would this guy be in there? I'm not saying you, obviously in general. That's the moment. My buddy said he's already my new favorite wrestler, and I don't even really watch wrestling like that. Why? Because they're entertaining. It's a sport. It's not just about winning a championship and this and that. They're in the business of entertainment and creating moments, and people liked it, Mr. Iguana. So again, I thought they did a good job of that stuff. I was disappointed about Jericho, but it seems that his contract may have had extended dates from injury, which is why he's not a free agent yet. So I'm not going to hold Triple H and WWE's feet to the fire on Jericho if he's not a free agent yet. It is what it is.
Yeah, I kind of understand, though, if people were watching the Royal Rumble for the big surprise like Jericho and they didn't get it. Like, I understand that there's probably some deflated the expectations weren't met. I get it. But at the same time, the Royal Rumble is more about the surprises. And it's not that they didn't have any. It wasn't the big flashy name, right? So with that, and I'm sure Saudi Arabia probably had a good reason, like a reason as to why you're not bringing in all this talent, because you got to pay these guys to come out there. And I'm sure that probably played a big factor in who they could bring over and who they couldn't. So I don't blame WWE for that, but I will say this: if Triple H is going to come out and say we're going to have all these surprises and be epic and all this stuff, he needs to tone it down a little bit, because he's going to get called out on that every single time. It's like if you're saying tons of surprises, like, and you only get a couple, people are going to point at that and say, hey, you didn't deliver on what you were supposed to. But for me, for you, it seems like I was fine with how it was, but there's going to be naysayers out there that aren't going to be happy with anything that they put out there. So you take it with a grain of salt.
Maybe it's just me. I don't even think I even heard the comments that Triple H said there's going to be all these. I assume every event they're going to tell me there's going to be surprises. So maybe I'm just a common sense person who uses my brain. I don't know. But, at the end of the day, listen, I thought it was fine. I thought Oba was tremendous. Javon was awesome. They made stars. They started storylines. They had some shocking eliminations, like Braun going out early, the way Cody was eliminated. I got what I expected from a Royal Rumble. Again, we differentiate on the, missing when the old timers comes back. That era to me is come and gone. I don't really miss that part of it. So I wasn't even disappointed with that. The only thing I would have wanted that I didn't get is a Jericho return. But I can't fault him for it because it doesn't seem like it was a possibility. I would have liked Santana maybe. I really think you should continue to solidify that TNA relationship, particularly because it sounds like Santana is on the radar for when he's a free agent from TNA. And I would have liked at least somebody from NXT. But and obviously stating the obvious. Carmelo Hayes and Finn Balor not being in the Rumble when we had this goofy. Other than that, I'm good. And that sounds like a lot, but it's really not that much. It's little nitpick points.
Yeah.
I love the way that it carried out. And obviously, we get to last night on Monday Night Raw. Roman comes out. He talks about his history in Philadelphia, where it's been very checkered. Good moments, bad moments. I've been there for all of them. I was there for Rumble when he got booed out of the building. I was there when he won his first championship against Sheamus. And were you with me for that?
No.
Okay. Because that one I had really good seats. I was up pretty close. I was there for that. I've been there for a lot of I was there when Roman lost the title to Cody. So I was literally in the crowd for all three things he majorly talked about. Big history in the city of Philadelphia for Roman. And as he's going through that, talks about his next opponents. Out comes CM Punk. And then fireworks start almost immediately. Punk first doesn't even acknowledge Roman. Starts talking about Finn Balor, which I thought was a great way to launch this thing off. And then they get into the whole, you disrespect me, you cut into my segment. And he says, well, this is my show. Your segment, anybody's segment is my segment, basically. Because I'm the champion of this show. And then they get into the history and Punk bringing them in and then obviously Punk leaving and this and that. So, what were your highlights of this exchange? And obviously this ends where Roman accepts or selects CM Punk to be his opponent at WrestleMania 42. Not just because he's on the number one show, on the number one streaming service, but because he hates him. He hates him. And that's why Roman's picking him, because he wants to take him out at WrestleMania because he hates him. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think you kind of hit it spot on where there's got to be some personal animosity, reality-based. And I think those are the best promos is when you get the reality part of the story. He alluded to the going on his best friend's podcast and making things harder for him, and then teaming up with him at Survivor Series and mocking him as he walks behind him, and like that kind of stuff. He didn't forget that stuff, and he had it all stewing. And now all of a sudden this opportunity comes, and now he's going to get an opportunity to face this guy. So I think this was extremely well done. It sets up for weeks. I mean, WrestleMania is April 18th and 19th. So a lot of time. This gets everything started. The foundation gets started, and now you can build your way through, and it's off to a really hot start. And I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. And that's where I go back to who deserved to win the Royal Rumble, or who should have won the Royal Rumble for that matter. Do you see any of these other guys on this roster cutting promos like that? Absolutely not. He's the right guy right now. They need a spark. Roman and Punk are going to ignite that match, and they're going to take it all the way to WrestleMania and leave it all in the ring. And I'm all here for it.
Yeah, same. Listen, I think it's awesome. I loved that they did not shy away from touching on real life emotions and real life situations. Roman talking about, who do you think they contacted when they were bringing you back? You think they don't come to me to ask me about these things? Which, listen, there's a lot of reality to that, right? We watch professional sports, and particularly the NFL, right, where they say, what point do you bring the quarterback into the conversation when you're hiring your next coach? Or you're looking to acquire a wide receiver that they might need to work with, or a coordinator. So there's a reality there. So to kind of tie that in and bring that in the forefront, I thought was great, particularly with Unreal, that they have WWE Unreal as a thing right now. I love that we touch on that and the, behind the scenes politics of things. So I did. I enjoyed the promo. I enjoyed Roman getting a little bit more of the tribal chief Roman after, he kind of came out and some people are like, oh, I hate face Roman. It's not the same, blah, blah, blah. I like it in terms of I don't feel like he's a true face. Sometimes he panders to the crowd and sometimes he turns it on when he needs to. And this was a time where at that point in the promo, Punk started getting personal, and that's when the tribal chief turned it up a notch. The promos in this thing this is just one. And we got, 10 more weeks of this before we get to WrestleMania.
And like I said earlier on, I don't think we see. What's up, Brian? I don't think we see Roman again until after Elimination Chamber. Only because, we're not that far from it, but I think they did enough to where that can carry, and Punk can carry it and kind of talk even more trash, and then have Roman come back and get his 2 cents on what he said, and it just builds it up that much more. But like you said, there's plenty of time between now and Mania. I think that, like I said, builds that foundation to start something very special.
Yeah, absolutely. So, see, Brian says, not overly disappointed with the results of the Rumble. It was expected, but the two that won need to be in the title pictures. Yes, agree, Brian. Brian is part of Flyers Talk A2D, as well as Pope, who you saw his comments coming up. You'll see those guys this evening at 9. I believe they go on at 9 p.m. here on A2D Radio, so make sure you guys tune in and check them out. Talk some hockey, talk some Flyers. One of the best hockey shows you'll find anywhere on the internet. They're tremendous guys. I couldn't agree with that more. Let's move on to our second topic here, which is the Women's Royal Rumble. And Liv Morgan has won the Women's Royal Rumble. I will say from an entertainment standpoint, this match delivered for me a lot. Sol Ruka, who I am very, very high on. I make the argument she might have the most exciting and entertaining finisher in professional wrestling right now. When she hits a soul snatcher, it is next level excitement. And anyone I've been around who has never necessarily walking around the background. Anyone who I've been around who it's their first or second time watching, when they see her hit that soul snatcher, they say, Joe, can you run that back? I got to see it again. It's eye-popping. And she looked like a star here. They had her go to the final 3. I thought it was a really smart move with her momentum coming off of the win against Bayley at the John Cena's final match, Saturday night's main event. I was very excited for that. Chelsea Green, again, a superstar in this. Chelsea Green could have won this Royal Rumble, and I will stand on that hill. She is so freaking over. And I'm talking, if you're talking about a crowd in Saudi Arabia that's very unpredictable because you don't know how deeply or closely a lot of them follow. They love 2 things, Chelsea Green, and they loved some Brie Bella, who we got to return. Brie Bella was like Austin level pop from Saudi Arabia. It was crazy. But I stand by it. I thought they were smart with the use of the Secret Hervis, with Alba Fire, helping her keep her feet up. And, I'm disappointed at how this company views this woman. And that's going to be a gripe I don't think I'm going to have that goes away, because they are wasting an unbelievable talent. They're utilizing her in a different way, and that's fine. If she's going to play ball because that's the type of worker she is. But I'm never going to stop thinking about what could happen if they ever gave her that. That was the one I thought. I said it last week. I challenge you, WWE, make the right decision. Surprise us. The right decision would have surprised us. That's who I really thought would be the best solution. Now we got to Liv Morgan, and I'm okay with that. They had great moments with that. She gets rid of Raquel. I was very happy with overall how this Women's Royal Rumble played out. Having Charlotte and Alexa come out to open it. I like that they didn't have them go right after each other. I liked the little kind of a tease on each other, and then they kind of just hung out and waited for the next competitor to come in. Yeah, I enjoyed the execution of it. We didn't get a Bianca Belair. That was kind of a surprise to me. But again, if she's not ready, who am I to hold it against them? You know? So your thoughts on the Women's Royal Rumble. Liv Morgan moves on. Not the way we thought, Eric, because I really thought that Raquel would end up winning that title last night on Raw. It didn't happen. It's not to say it can't happen between now and WrestleMania, though. But your thoughts on Liv Morgan and what we ended up getting here?
Yeah, I think it's nice to see that over the last five years or so, I think Liv's been the runner-up twice. And to finally get her opportunity, and I don't know if you saw some of the video from the show from fans, but you see her leaving the ring and like crying. Like she's absolutely beside herself in excitement and elation that she has finally gotten this opportunity. So I'm very happy for her, and glad that she's getting an opportunity, because I think she's one of the most entertaining women wrestlers that they have. Yep, there you go. 9 o'clock. Be there.
9 o'clock tonight for Hockey Talk.
Yeah.
Dynasty's back. What's up, brother?
Hey.
Not the same. Eric, you know I've had this argument in our chat.
Yeah.
It is not the same. It is so much harder. Just to clear this up before you go on, because I had this whole conversation in a chat. Me and Eric were in 2 months ago. Athena's move is impressive, but Athena is a springboard off the middle rope backwards into a stunner. And it's like Sol Ruka can do it from the rope. She can do it from the corner, where she does a leap, a complete vertical into a flip into a cutter. It is not the same. It is exceedingly harder. What's he say? It's a lot like Athena Zayn with the elbow.
Kairi Sane with the elbow drop.
Need more to get to that next level. Dude, she's charismatic.
I think she needs to be on the main roster. Hopefully, hopefully by after WrestleMania.
My understanding is she is set to be coming. I think she's done in NXT at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure she's done in NXT, but she could talk too. That's the thing. Like before, I thought when she first came up, I was like, oh, okay, we have like the surfer girl. You know what I mean? It is like kind of the hippie surfer girl. But over the last year, if you followed her and how her in-ring has gotten so freaking good, and then like listen to some of her promos and her backstage like work in terms of interactions, she is tremendous. I think
yeah.
there's a reason. Put it this way, before you go, there's a reason she was in the final three.
Oh yeah,
I'm saying for Dynasty here, there's no, they don't just put you in the final three. Like the final four is always either somebody who's there on that level, or you're set to be pushed to that level.
Yeah, they definitely see a lot in her, and that last spot with her, Tiff, and Liv was tremendous. All three of them did an amazing job in that sequence. I'll say that the women's match got off to a little bit of a slow start to me. I did like the Charlotte Alexa stuff, and they kind of tease a little bit, and they teased it their whole run together as a team. So I see them continuing the tag team, but I like that they continued that going. You mentioned Sol Ruka, right? As far as women that were highlighted, there were some other ones that I want to mention as well. I mean, Kiana.
Yeah, I want to leave you some meat on the bone. I didn't take everything, you know.
So Kiana James, my goodness, like she's been kind of in the background as the talking piece for Julia, but she was in there. Well, she in there a good 20 minutes. She had a good run.
very underutilized.
Yeah,
I don't mind what she's doing with Julia right now, by the way. But in terms of in ring, I want to see her featured more in singles matches on top of working with Julia.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was alluding to. It's kind of like they're not utilizing her properly, and I get what they're trying to do with Julia because her promo work is not great. Her English isn't sharp, so I get what they're doing, but I don't want it to hold her back. I think they need to feature her in, like you said, singles matches, and they've done it in tag, but I think you need to see more. Jordan Grace, great showing. Kalani Jordan, great showing. They did a lot, unlike the men's match. They highlighted NXT. JC Jane was in it.
They did a really good job with the NXT talent. Both the ones that are now just coming up and the ones who are, obviously featured down there now.
Yeah, you saw that the future is very bright for the women's division. As much as they say they don't have people, they definitely focused and made sure that they got these women on this card, in this Rumble match, and they did a great job with it.
Yeah, I mean, Lash Legend.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, that's
how could I forget that one?
Yeah, I mean that's the one, and shout out to Andy last week who was spot on with Lash.
Yeah,
I mean, there was a moment where I thought maybe she could win this thing, and that's the reaction you want. You want to make somebody at this stage of their career look like so much of a star in this match that you legitimately believe they could win.
What better stamp of approval than to throw out the 14-time world champion Charlotte Flair out of a Royal Rumble in your first Rumble? Like that right there is, we're going to push you to the top, and they really like her. And I think it's going to set up a tag team match with Alexa and Charlotte versus Lash and Nia down the road, which I think is good for all four. I think you continue to utilize Lash and get her more ring time. It's only going to continue to be good things for her. What's up, Don? Hope all is well with you too. I guess Chrome's having some doggy issues, but yeah, like the women's Rumble, I thought they utilized NXT a lot better. We had not as many surprises there. We had the Brie Bella, as and like Chrome alluded to, that was a major pop with the yes chants. That was awesome. And it looks like as of last night, Brie was on the show, so they're going for the tag team title. So it looks like they're going to be on TV, and hopefully, maybe in a WrestleMania, we shall see. I was bringing up the Bellas.
Yeah, listen, I and that to me that was a good enough surprise. Like,
yeah,
I think, we talked last week about how far this women's division's come with. They don't need that, and the fact that yes, they're bringing Brie back, but it wasn't just for the night. Like apparently, she's going to be doing an extended run here, so totally for it. And it got a huge reaction. I thought that was great. And, I like the idea of putting them back into the tag. It's another legitimate women's tag team, which seems to be one of the only divisions that they actually do utilize the tag teams, the legitimate tag teams in regards to the ladies, because they don't do it for the men very much.
And I think, alluding to that, that's probably how they're going to get a lot of these women on the WrestleMania card. You're probably going to see a big women's tag team title, like 4-way or something like that.
Yeah, shout out to Don, by the way. I heard you say hi to him. Spells, you are so far off on Mr. Iguana. Go back to what we talked about at the beginning of the show. I watched this show with people that aren't regular watchers. And one of the biggest, most entertaining moments that they saw in the entire 4-hour show was when Mr. Iguana was in there. Because it was different, it was funny, it was entertaining. And they loved him. They said they would watch him again. So, to your point, or to combat your point there, man, there's a reason why somebody like him is over in the way that you don't have to be a main eventer. And AAA, they are a different type of wrestling down there, where it is very, very character driven, much like it used to be here in the 90s. And that's okay. It's cool. It's fun. They do it differently, though. They do, they do it with luchadors and obviously guys like this. I find them very entertaining. I was good without having Ron R-Truth in this match.
Sean, yeah, thank you for the comment, and thank you for contributing to the show. I would say I love Ron.
Good guy.
I love Ron to death, but like we alluded to earlier on, I would have rather seen Carmelo Hayes or somebody like that over R-Truth. I think R-Truth, you know what you're getting out of him. He's gonna come in and he's probably. I mean, let's face it. He probably didn't know where he was. He's probably in Sacramento instead of Saudi. So
yeah, we said he's probably in he's probably in like Santa Clara or San Angelo.
He's in Saskatchewan.
Yeah,
but either way, like I think it was just. I don't think it was the right time or place for him in this Rumble.
So the non-response thing, I do want to just reply to that. I've looked at a lot of this because I had people tell me, "Oh my God, the crowd was empty." It wasn't. They have this terrible lighting in there that they thought would enhance the visual effect, and they have pictures of the crowd showing people in these seats, but they turned the lighting down on the crowd in the back of the hard cam and lit up these lights thinking it was going to create a visual effect that did not happen. Instead, it made it look like the show was empty. And the thing is, that's where you get your reactions from, is what you see on the hard cam. So to not have that visual be there, I think was very, very difficult. You're in a stadium, sound's going to go up. Not packing it in. Right. So the way you have to see it, and we heard Edge talk about this with WrestleMania previously, where I think it was maybe when they were in Houston, right? 17, when they had the TLC match, and he said they didn't hear a sound of people because they couldn't tell because of how the sound would rise. Right. But when you watch the visual of people in the background going crazy when he spears Jeff Hardy off the title belts that he's hanging from the top of a ladder, it created that whole big, like, you could see the reaction and the craziness in the crowd. And I feel like, I'm not saying that definitely was here, but you couldn't tell. It looked empty because of an awful, awful technical decision to show these dumb LED. I heard they might be removing them, actually.
So I don't know how legit this is.
Oh, you're good.
But I saw a word that they're tearing down that stadium. I don't know how legit that is, but I had heard that they're tearing it down.
I don't know. Maybe they're tearing it down, but I think if I remember reading correctly, the LED lighting thing was something that was either their idea or combined idea. Yeah. Like, I don't think that, obviously they've done shows at that stadium before. It wasn't.
No, they just built that. The
lighting.
That they built that that stadium.
Oh, so they built that stadium. Okay.
Yeah. So
yeah. This was something that I don't know who decided, but I was reading it this morning on a legitimate news source. I don't even think it was a dirt sheet. It was like a news source. And they were saying that because of how terrible the production came off, that there was, I don't know if it was WWE or Saudi Arabia and WWE combined, decided they are not going to utilize that as an effect in the future for shows because it looked terrible.
I think the new arena in LA has those. And I think that's the only arena that I've seen them utilize for a WWE show. But I mean, this really, if you look at it, it's wild. It's like people appear when they stand up. It's just it's really bizarre. I was following this guy from the US that he did a vlog on his trip to Saudi for Royal Rumble, and he's in the crowd, and you could see the people, but They just didn't come across on TV like that. It wasn't full, but it wasn't empty either. I think they said they had like 25,000 people there, something like that.
Yeah, which, listen, that's a lot of people. I think that's
Pretty
what it
good.
holds, if I remember correctly.
I don't know.
It's not as massive of a stadium as you would think.
No.
Kind of like a box. I thought I read that 25,000 is considered a sellout there
Yeah.
with the size of the stadium.
I think this is the.
I don't think there's a second level.
There's not. No. They definitely made it look big on TV, and I think because it was really tall.
Correct.
But I think this is the test for WrestleMania as well. Like, hey, let's figure it out. Figure out the configuration, what works. Clearly, the LED didn't work, so when they built this new spot for WrestleMania, and they hold however many they want to hold, they can get all that taken care of and have a better presentation next time.
Yeah, but yeah, overall, I thought this was really a great match. You did too. They made stars, they enhanced stars, and I think they made the right decision. It's who I thought would win. It's who I thought should win. I'm glad they made this decision. It makes the most sense moving forward. Moving on to our WWE Undisputed title match. Drew McIntyre defeats Sami Zayn. And obviously, Drew's trying to put Sami over a little bit. You know, talking last night. Was it last night, I believe, on Raw? Or maybe it was the post show. It was the post show. Saying, like, that's not the same guy I faced 11 times. You know, he kept coming back, and they got the best version of him. They're trying not to kill the character. But it is, in my opinion, DOA. It's done. I don't know what you do with Sami at this point. He should have never been put in this spot. He's the guy that should have gone to WrestleMania and defeated Drew McIntyre. But now you can't do that. And I don't give a shit if they do that. Because then to me, it's just pandering. So you got to come up with something different. I don't know what to do with this character. I thought it was terrible that he was here. Yeah, good match. They always have good matches together. Not surprised. But you put two guys who never win a big match, and now Drew's never going to lose again for a while. But you put his version of him, skinnier version of him, up against him to lose again, and you went out of your way to highlight that he's never defeated him and lost to him 11 times. Like they pounded that so hard that the only option was for him, in my mind, to win. Otherwise, you're killing the character. Don't acknowledge it. If the internet wants to talk about it, fine, but don't just acknowledge it, but beat it up in the storyline. Because now, to me, this guy should never get another chance against Drew McIntyre, ever. Your thoughts?
Yeah, good match, but I mean, I always said like these Royal Rumble matches, these title matches at Royal Rumble are kind of just like throwaways because the champion that's usually going in is the one that's going to be going to WrestleMania. I mean, barring anything crazy, but yeah, I don't know what they do with him. Maybe he's in Elimination Chamber. It seems like Raw and SmackDown superstars are going to be in it because they have qualifying matches on Raw next week. So maybe he's in the chamber, but I don't see him winning. But then what's next? Like, you can't throw him back in the U.S. title. He lost matches there to those guys. So, like, I don't know what you do unless you think KO's coming back anytime soon, which I highly doubt. So it's like, what do you do with him? You put him back in the bloodline? Like, there's no bloodline to go back to now. So I don't know, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do because
they put so much work into that. Like, there was so much work put into that character to get it to where it was. The conspiracy theorists, then eventually into the bloodline. Obviously, the falling out with the bloodline, then a reunion with members of the bloodline to go against the original bloodline, and then the relationship with Jey Uso, and then a reconciliation with Jimmy. Like And then they got to a point with him and KO winning the titles, and then them feuding again, and then it's been all over the place. But they got to a really good spot with this guy. You had him end Gunther's unbeatable Intercontinental title reign last year. Well, almost 2 years ago now. And at that point, the mission should have been, let's get to WrestleMania 41 and put the title on Sami Zayn. That's what it should have been. They never got there. And since then, he lost the title to, was it Solo?
The Intercontinental
title? No, not Solo.
Did he lose it to Jay? No. I don't remember who that. See that right there. I don't remember.
That's very telling right there. Who did Sami lose?
But yeah, I mean, it's kind of
Braun Breaker.
Ah, there you go.
Lost it to Braun. Since then, his character in terms of the love affair with the fans has stayed steady. But the believability of the character and the spots that he's been put in has completely fallen apart.
Yeah, they missed they definitely missed the opportunity to put the title on him. I think you look 2 years ago, there it was. And now you gave an ounce of effort to get him back to this point, but now you lost again. Where does he go from here? I don't know.
I could not disagree with a comment more than what Dynasty put up here. Bro,
Mode.
if you watch a wrestling show with me, Dynasty, one day, I'm going to tell you this. I pop more for that song than any other song that plays. I love it. Remote. It's the best. I'm not even joking. I pop for it. So I couldn't disagree more. Love it. And I popped again when that song hit. I pop as much for that as I did when Edge returned in Royal Rumble 2020. You're out of your freaking mind, buddy. Love you, though, Dynasty. Greg says, what's up, fellas? He agrees to the poll. He thought the show was lame. Appreciate you chiming in there, Greg. 22 do Wednesdays and agree to disagree on Sundays. Brad Christen says, hey, guys, your thoughts about Monday Night Raw yesterday. And he also wants to know what our thoughts are on Oba Femi. So we did talk a lot about this, Brad. Appreciate your comment.
Thanks, Brad.
If you check us out from the last 2 weeks, big time Oba time. I mean, honestly, over the last month, we've been talking about Oba nonstop. Big fans. Big things in store for him going forward. I think they could have utilized him a little better in the Rumble in terms of having him do more after tossing the first 5. But, hey, he went almost 40 minutes. I mean, really, you had him and Javon Evans, or 1 and 1A. He went an hour or a minute and a half less than Javon Evans. Love him. In terms of the show last night, I thought it was a good show. I thought the women's title match was very good, the heavyweight title match. I was entertained. Final segment was incredible. Something we didn't touch on because we're going to be jumping into this match momentarily, Eric. I did enjoy Gunther coming out to the AJ Styles music.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was so good. People thought AJ was going to come out and address the crowd one more time, and then
he got me. He got me good.
Oh, he got me too. I was like, oh shit, AJ.
He did the whole thing. It was great.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. The rest of it was kind of just, to me, it was pedestrian. You know, we talk about it all the time. It's tough with the commercial breaks. I don't watch it live anymore because of that. I'll start it either really, really late so I could try to fast forward through the commercial breaks, or I'll watch it the next day. Javon Evans had a really good match. We got another face-off between the Americanos that we could have had there instead of the Royal Rumble and taking 2 spots away from people. I do agree with that.
Yeah, I think Oba needs to go to Raw. I agree.
It's a great spot for him.
Yeah.
And I think, listen, we're big Oba fans. So obviously you are too, Brad. So we love that. You have to come back and talk about it.
one thing about the Gunther segment last night, I got to give props to Dragon Lee for that sell job on the ropes, that choke job.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah,
my
yeah.
God. Like he was like a dead fish. It was so well done.
Well, the amount of trust you have to have for your dance partner in there.
Yeah.
And he looked like $1 million too. Like, as much as I kind of said, did he need to be in the Rumble? I still think he was fine in there. If you want to get a third person in, you could have taken those 3 out. Him coming out last night and being very serious and just, I mean, he was shot out of a cannon to defend AJ Styles last night. The disrespect on AJ. I loved that from him. And I thought that's the direction this guy needs to keep going. And you're right. The trust to just hang your body like full limp.
Yeah.
And then the way he just fell and hit the ground. I mean, that was good.
That was selling like a champ if I've ever seen it. What did you think last night? Now, speaking of Oba, so Oba comes out and decimates the War Raiders. Couldn't use Philly enhancement talent for that. You just bury the War Raiders like that. Like, you're not even utilizing, like, and you know how I am with tag teams. Like, why are we doing that with a tag team? I guess maybe legitimacy. I don't know, but like you could have gotten the same impact with two guys from, I don't know, ZZW or whatever, the rest, whatever local Philly promotion you want to.
Dude, you could have did it with Kit Wilson. Toxic masculinity. A massive man just comes out and destroys.
Yeah. We've seen it for forever. They used to do that with Brock Lesnar, and
yeah,
the list goes on. In handicap matches with enhancement talent, they do the job. You don't need to bury Eric and Ivar at the sake of hope. Like, you could do it a different way. I like the idea of making him look strong. I mean Ivar is just a monster, and he sold really well for him. But I guess maybe that was the big reason behind it. But yeah. I like the concept, but just not the sacrificial lambs that I guess you could say.
I agree. The only thing I'll say on the other side is, honestly, and it's not a credit to them. I even forgot the War Raiders were on the roster, and it sounds terrible, but I'm not surprised because that's how they've been booked. Brad, so what I'll encourage you to do, buddy, go back to our first half hour of the show. We really dove into Roman winning. We talked about CM Punk and the conflict that we saw last night to get to the challenge for WrestleMania. So I would encourage you to go to our earlier part of the show, and you'll get our thoughts. We're fans. We loved it.
We both think it should be night 2 main event.
Yeah. Okay. But in the interest of encouraging you to watch more of our program, we'll tell you to run it back to the first half hour of our show, and you can hear a lot more of our deeper thoughts on that. Let's move on to our final topic of the day, Eric. A phenomenal career ends. AJ Styles falls to Gunther in a career-ending match. I have a lot of thoughts on this, so I'm going to let you kick this off. You want to talk about the actual match or everything after? I'm going to open it up to you first, and then I'm going to jump in with my thoughts and my conversations that I've had.
Okay. So, I don't know. So, those of you that follow Lazy Booking Podcast TV, I had anecdotes with Arch drop about how I felt about the AJ Styles thing. And I'll just say that I think the ending the match was good. The match was very good. And it told a really good story. And if you're going to create this career killer, which they have, and this was the right move for business. Now, as far as AJ is concerned, you see a lot of people complaining, well, AJ shouldn't go out this way, and AJ should have had a better run. And like, his contract's up. There's nothing you can do about that, first off. Second off, this guy's had some pretty damn good matches over the last few months. He fought John Cena. He fought Nakamura. He fought CM Punk. And he fought Gunther. What more do you want? This guy got good matches on the way out. It's not like you buried him with enhancement talent and buried the guy. He's had really good matches to go out. They did fine with this. And nobody's going to know what he wants to do. Maybe he didn't want a big send-off. Maybe, and I could see that. I don't know the guy personally, but maybe he just wants to go home. So what they did with him, I think, is fine. He gave his career to the guy, career killer, just like John Cena did, just like Goldberg did. He did business. He did business the right way. And that's it. And whatever he does, more power to him. He wants to go home to his family, more power to him. Not everybody can do that. And he could do it. And he's got money and he gets to take care of his family. Good for him. And if he winds up somewhere else, that's fine too. But to say that he went out and didn't get mad, like that's wrong. That's so wrong. He had a great career. And he had a hell of a run for 10 years. And like I said on the Anecdotes with Arch, there was a point in time 10 years ago where like the one guy that the WWE never got to come on to their show was AJ Styles. And when he showed up, it was a huge surprise, huge shock, got pushed to the moon, won the world title a couple times, had some bangers with Cena and the graveyard match with Undertaker and Randy Orton and others, Nakamura at WrestleMania. I mean, there were some great moments, and he left it all out there. So more power to him, and my hat's off to him. And thank you for everything you've done for us.
Yeah, Pat Canning chimes in, says with AJ not dropping the gloves and leaving the boots, they could have had him run out and eliminate Gunther instead of Drew eliminating Cody. Just my opinion. So I think the problem with that is then you open up, like you have to continue the feud, and they're just not going to do that right now. So I thought, and me and Eric texted, and when he decided not to put the gloves down, I said, oh, he's going to go to TNA or he's going to go to AEW. Like that's the symbolism of, I'm not leaving it in the ring yet. I'm just leaving this ring. That's how I interpreted it. But I made a complete 180 on this. So I watched an interview that AJ gave that somebody put on one of their social medias that they think they took last week or something. And AJ talked to them. It was almost like a TMZ, like a fan video, like almost paparazzi style. But he was sitting talking to the guy. And he said, he asked AJ, why would you walk away now when you still look like you're at your best? And he said, I might look like I'm at my best, but I don't feel my best. I also saw what Peter Rosenberg said on the post show, where he said, never say never, but my conversation was pretty matter of fact from AJ in that there was not an intention to go anywhere else. This is when his contract is up. He did not feel the need to renew a contract to extend his time. His word, and we talked about this last week, Eric, he said a couple of years ago, and he actually signed another contract after that. So he really did extend it, but not this contract, but the previous contract he originally stated was going to be his last contract. He was going to retire from professional wrestling. So you got an extra run out of him. You just maybe people didn't want to hear it because he openly said that. And to piggyback off of what Peter Rosenberg said, I can't name drop anybody, but I have some connections to people tied behind the scenes at WWE who echoed exactly, and who have known AJ Styles beyond his time in WWE, and said that they had a conversation with him that echoed very similar to what Peter Rosenberg said, to where, listen, you never say never. Maybe he gets that itch and he does a little run in TNA or something. But as of now, the overwhelming belief from people who have known AJ almost his entire career is that their conversations with him were that this is it. He has no intention to go anywhere else. He wants to go out being at the top of his game. And that is essentially where he's at right now. He wants to go out at the top of his game. He doesn't want to have any decline. Like his pride, and this is from people I talk to. The amount of pride that this man has for his in-ring performance is so incredibly high for himself that he does not want to have an ounce of drop off. And he does feel like he's getting close to where that's coming. So he's going out, and he has come to terms with it to go out at this point, and he did not feel like he needed to have the pomp and circumstance on the way out the door.
Yeah.
So, just so, and I'm being honest with you guys. I'm not going to name drop people I've talked to. Eric knows I have my connections. And those people echoed what Peter Rosenberg talked about on WWE's own Royal Rumble post show. Anyone that has talked to this man, unless there's something that none of them know and it's multiple people, have been told by him from the horse's mouth he is done. He is not going to AEW. He's not going to TNA. So never say never, but it doesn't seem likely. Here's what I think. Maybe they can help a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, listen, Brian, or Brad, I think that there could be a possibility here. You know, he could be an ambassador. Come in and go to the performance center every now and then. He can still roll around in the ring with that talent and help them to develop.
Yeah.
But you don't want to. You also don't want to start a story that may not happen. Again, I'm being honest with you guys. My sources have very poignantly told me they have known AJ for 20 years.
Yeah,
that he is done.
He could easily be on Dynamite on Wednesday if he wanted to be.
Maybe he pulled the wool over everybody's eyes and we don't know.
Right. And
I'm not going to say it can't happen.
Right. We don't know him like that, and we don't know what his.
I trust the information from the people I know that do know him.
Absolutely.
And other people who I've read their comments about this.
Yeah, and he doesn't seem like the type of guy that's going to be like, oh, well, I'm just going to throw away the 10 years I had with this company and go somewhere else for some more money. Like, if he really wanted to continue wrestling, why wouldn't he have re-signed with WWE again? You know, that's kind of the thought that I have. But I mean, to the point of AEW, I mean, would I love to see him against Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, and Swerve and all those guys? Sure. But if the guy doesn't want to do it, then that's fine too. Like, we're all human. We all get a point in our lives, and I'm not there yet at the end where it's like, all right, I'm done. I'm not a wrestler, but you know, there's a point in time where I want to, you know, stop working and enjoy my life and enjoy my family. You know, he's at a point where he is in pretty good shape. As far as he's not beat up, he can enjoy his life with his wife and his kids and be able to enjoy it. And that's where like the human element comes in. It's like, we're selfish wrestling fans. Like, we want to see that stuff, of course, but at the end of the day, he's a human being, and whatever he decides, that, you know, hopefully people will respect that.
I mean, the whole leaving stuff in the ring, that I mean, it is a time-honored tradition, so to speak, but that wasn't always something that everybody saw. Ric Flair didn't leave his boots in the ring. You know what I mean? I mean, that only became like a recent thing over the last however many years. You know, Triple H started doing it, and then everyone after Triple H started doing it. I mean, you might see guys here and there do stuff like that, But really, like Triple H, in my opinion, in this new era where everybody does it, Triple H is the guy that started that. So, I mean, hell, you had Undertaker leave his coat and hat in the ring and then come back like 3 months later. So, listen, you're not wrong. Maybe in his mind he's saying, I'm done. I'm not going to close the door on it, though. But this was an exact quote I was told personally. He values his word. And in his mind, he looks at it the same way Shawn Michaels. Now, I know Shawn Michaels came back 11 years, 10, whatever it was, 10 years later for a Saudi show.
No, he didn't. We forget about that.
Right.
No.
But in terms of coming back and having another run and doing this and that, the exact words he was told was he respects a guy like a Shawn Michaels so much that he has the same mindset of if I gave my word, I am not going to go back on my word. And from what my understanding is, his word was he's done. Not done with WWE. He's done. And if that is the case, listen, I won't be mad if he showed up on Dynamite or TNA. I love the guy. He's one of my favorite guys I've ever watched. He is arguably in the conversation with Shawn Michaels as in-ring performers like the greatest ever. To me, they might be 1 and 1A. But it sounds like he's done. And if he is, what a career. Amazing feuds in TNA with the likes of Kurt Angle, Samoa Joe. I mean, you go up and down the list of the TNA town, Frankie Kazarian, Christopher Daniels, and so on, Sting. And then you go to his WWE run and the talent that he worked with there. His coming in with, Chris Jericho and then John Cena and Randy Orton, and the list goes on and on and on. It's been there's nothing this guy can't check off the box other than a Rumble win, which I don't really think he cared about. His premiere, his debut at the 2016 Royal Rumble is one of the greatest moments in the history of the Royal Rumble. It is one of the biggest, if not the biggest pop in the history of the Royal Rumble. And I think there's a lot to be said for that. And maybe for him, the poetic end of this is to finish where he started in terms of his WWE run, which made him a megastar. He was always an unbelievably well-known. He was always the best guy to not be in WWE, which can be a plus. But at his time, that's a tough place to be because you didn't have all that internet exposure like you do now. And then he got there and he became a Hall of Famer at the company that he always wanted to do it at. And had an amazing decade run. I think that's it. And again, if he comes back, I'm not gonna. I can't believe he came back. Awesome. I hope there's a little part of me that will love to say it, but I will say I do have the closure in that if this is it for him, I'm good. I got plenty of matches I can go back and watch. Honestly, to me, you got that John Cena match. Everybody thought it was just Cena doing it. It's very clear that AJ, because that's when they first started announcing that AJ was done in 2026. It's very clear to me that AJ already knew he was closer to the end than everybody else did. And I'm sure Cena did too. That's exactly why they did what they did in that.
Yeah. And like I alluded before, like he had some, not just Cena, he had some really good matches at the end. He got the matches that he won. And I think people are comparing it to Cena's farewell tour in that Cena got all this time and stuff like that. Like, to your point, they all knew when his contract was up. And again, maybe he just didn't want all the pomp and circumstance. He just wanted to end it, do business, put somebody over, and that's it. And that's fine.
And this is going to sound terrible. I don't mean it as a negative, but it's just a fact. If two guys are running concurrent and John Cena's one of them and he's retiring, John Cena's getting the bigger spotlight.
Oh,
End
yeah.
of story. So I don't know. I don't know if AJ wanted it or not. But at the end of the day, I think things played out the way he felt good about being done. And like there's no regrets, nothing left on the table for him. That's the word I got from multiple sources and from seeing multiple things that some of these sources have confirmed to be a truth. So, yeah. But thank you to AJ, because what a career. What a phenomenal career. It's a fitting word for this man and a moniker to put before his name and honestly at the end, because at the end he was still phenomenal. You know, we talked about it like a couple weeks ago, right? Maybe the signs were there. We did kind of see, I don't want to say fall off, but there were little quirks in things and matches and things that normally looked so seamless. Like, honestly, even the Phenomenal Forum for me, sometimes it looked rough for him to try to get up on the ropes. I just felt like it was becoming too much for him. Maybe them last two injuries he had that kept him out for a while, where he sat and he said, A, I'm home. I'm enjoying my time home with my kids. And B, it's getting a lot harder to get back.
As you get older, the muscles don't recover as quickly.
Uh-huh.
You don't recover from injuries quicker either. So it makes sense. It really does.
Before we sign off, Eric, there was an inquiry, I believe it was by Brad. Let's pull it back up. We didn't address the masked person who came out and took Braun out. So let's discuss quickly. There's been some theories out there. You know, we have about 3 minutes, so let's try to keep it quick. But your thoughts on, obviously the masked person who comes out, takes Braun out. They do the same thing that Theory did to CM Punk. What are your thoughts on the execution of this?
Yeah, I liked it. If Braun wasn't going to win, it's a perfect spot for it.
Protect him.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw rumors. I've seen everything from Adam Pearce to Jake Paul to Austin Theory to, I mean, the list goes on and on who it could be besides the obvious, right? So
at first I thought maybe Finn, but I think maybe you could have did Finn if he never got into the ring, which clearly we didn't get to that point. I did like the Jake Paul one.
Yeah.
Or not Jake Paul, Logan Paul.
Logan Paul.
I liked the Logan Paul theory.
Yeah.
Logan and Seth being the one to be pulling the puppet strings on Theory and Logan Paul all this time to get back at the original vision. I'm for that if that ends up being the deal.
They don't call him the architect for nothing now. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would actually be really, really good storytelling.
Yeah, I mean, I like that. Yeah, there is an obvious person, but is it that obvious to where it could be somebody else? And that's where these rumors and speculation go into play. So we'll see how long they carry this out. I mean, as long as Seth's out, there's going to be in the back of the mind of, is it him or is it these other possibilities? It could be Adam Pearce, who doesn't like Braun Breaker. He's continued that on Raw. So we'll see how far this plays out. I'm sure it'll play out probably until at least WrestleMania. Maybe it culminates. It's about possibly 6 months after Seth's surgery. So maybe we see an unveiling at WrestleMania. We'll see.
Yeah, listen. I mean, I don't think it's going to get that long. I think it'll probably get to Elimination Chamber. I'm not ruling out that it could just be anybody with the intention of it being Seth down the road, but he's just not doing the physical actions right now. Another one I thought, which was a name that kind of floated out there, but I haven't heard this round, is a Montez Ford. If they, if he could be tied into it before, why couldn't Seth figure out a way to tie him into it again with a new vision.
There you go.
You know, I mean, I'm just trying to think outside of the box.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, that changed everything.
Speaking of Seth, I don't know if you watched the thing on Netflix with the guy climbing the skyscraper.
No, I haven't.
Seth does the commentary.
No, he doesn't.
He does the commentary with I forget her name that used to be on ESPN. And L. Duncan. Yeah, with L, and then somebody else who was like a professional climber, free climber. Dude, that's great, man.
I can hear it.
I think you do hear that at some point. He's great with that, and then obviously some of the work he's been doing with the NFL, I think has been really, really good. Yeah. That's got a career out of him, man.
Yeah. Real quick, Pat, like Chrome and I talked a few months when that injury happened, and we both thought Seth was going to WrestleMania as the champion. Probably we're going to get him and Punk or something like that. But that totally changed everything for at least Raw for WrestleMania. I don't think we see Punk and Roman if that happens, to be honest.
Yeah. Listen, it's WrestleMania season. WrestleMania, the road is on. So make sure you guys continue to tune into A2D Radio, particularly on Tuesday nights, for more coverage of the road to WrestleMania. We're talking wrestling every week. When do you go away? Is that next week?
No, the 19th. So you're stuck with me a couple more weeks.
Well, we'll see. That might be a down week while you're away. I might take the day off. We'll see. Maybe not. We'll see what the week looks like. You can also follow A2D Radio. You can follow us on Instagram. You can also search A2D Radio and Lazy Booking Podcast on all social media platforms. Give us a like, a subscribe, give us a follow, share us out, tell your friends about us. Find our channel. Give it a like, give it a subscribe, give it a follow on YouTube, Lazy Booking Pod TV, where we drop this episode that we do here live on A2D Radio on either late at night, Tuesdays, or on Wednesdays. You also see other exclusive content, such as Anecdotes with Arch, where he drops one or two, or a couple more than that sometimes in a week. Just some thoughts on some things going on in professional wrestling, as well as other original content. We've done watch parties. We've done roundtables. So especially once WrestleMania season ramps up, we're going to be really extending our content. So tune in for that. You can find all that stuff on our social platforms, as well as announcements to come here on Tuesday nights on A2D Radio. So make sure you guys give us a shout out there, as well as specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Make sure you hit up our doctor. If you have any kind of a physical ailment or anything going on, he'll get you back on track. But good show today. Lots to talk about, as we saw. We appreciate all the comments. Really, really cool to have everybody coming in and dropping in, and all your Rumble thoughts. Some old, some familiar, some new names. Make sure you guys come back and see us next Tuesday night, typically around the same time. If you set your alerts, you're not going to miss us. But we usually go on sometime between 5:30 and 6:30. So we usually shoot for 6. Today we would have been 6 if I didn't have a little technical issue on my side. So, but until then, Eric, appreciate you. Thank you for your time this week, as always.
Thank you. And we are on the road to WrestleMania. Buckle up. It's going to be a fun ride. Let's go.
Whoa, whoa,
yeah.
WrestleMania.
And we may also do a watch along for a WrestleMania, perhaps.
So we will. Just so everybody knows, I think we're going to get at least 2 in. I want to do at least one older, which we said if we do, I'd ideally, here's the ones I'm thinking, right? And actually, if you guys could comment in, we'd love to hear the manias you guys would like to see us do. We're definitely doing 8. We talked about it. We love 8. I would love to do 9 if we could do 9.
Yes.
And I think we should pick like a more modern WrestleMania. Something like 30 or like 31 would be a good WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So maybe we do like a 31 or 33 in Orlando, I thought was a really good WrestleMania. Something along those lines. But we're going to do at least 2. But we got a lot of time between now and WrestleMania. So,
Yes.
I mean, hell, we might end up doing 4, 5, 6 by the end of this thing. So we'll see. We're going to get in what we can. You know, last year I watched the first WrestleMania for the first time, like start to finish. I've seen
Yeah.
It's a short watch. It's not very long.
No, not at all. Yeah.
It's like an hour and 45 minutes, 2
Yep.
hours.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah, we're stay tuned. Check our socials. Stay tuned to hear. We're gonna have announcements coming. We're gonna start putting out. That's watch parties are 100% gonna be some. We're gonna see if we get some guests to come on and talk some wrestling with us. So, maybe get back one of our most popular and polarizing guests we had on here. We love them.
Yeah. Let's bring them back.
Let's see.
go.
We'll see. We'll see if we can make that happen. He definitely left the door open to come and join us anytime we like. So Mania season seems like the right time.
Yeah.
But again, guys, make sure you guys also stay tuned a little bit over an hour, the 9 o'clock hour Eastern Standard Time. Hockey Talk A2D, Flyers Talk A2D is going to be here on A2D Radio. They're going to be talking to you guys as well as keep following all the shows here. A2D Wednesday night, Final Whistle, Film Don't Lie, Eagles Talk A2D, Agree to Disagree, the flagship that comes on Sundays. And then again, A2D Wednesday, I don't remember if I said it, but I'll say it again. And obviously us here and the hockey guys on Niche Night here on A2D Radio. For myself, for Eric, everybody out there, as Andy always says, as we believe in our hearts, tell somebody you love them, give them a hug, and we out.
We out.
See you guys next week.
Yeah.